Thank you for joining us on our main news at 9:10. First, to take a look at the headlines. Opposition United Party for National Development, UPND, says it is ready to support plans to impeach President Edgar Lungu for alleged breach of the Constitution. Forum for Democratic Process FODEP Executive Director Chimwembe Mwenge has called on government to open up discussions regarding tightening up the electoral laws. And Spanish Prime Minister Mariano Rajoy has said regional elections next month in Catalonia will help end separatist havoc in the northeastern region. And now is the detailed news. Opposition United Party for National Development, UPND's Nazongo Member of Parliament, says he is ready to support plans to impeach President Edgar Lungu for alleged breach of the Constitution. Some opposition political parties in Zambia are pushing for the impeachment of President Lungu following his threatening remarks to judges that there will be chaos in the country if they rule against him in his third-term bid. Patriots for Economic Progress, PAPE leader Sean Tembo recently said his party, which has no representation in parliament, is seeking for the support of the UPND, the leading opposition party in the country. But Mr. Sialualo says once the motion is passed in parliament, he will not hesitate to support the motion. Meanwhile, the Nazongo lawmaker says he will not be attending government functions, looking at what happened to his fellow UPND Luampa Member of Parliament, Makoto Chikote, who was forced to abandon the official commissioning of the Rural Electrification Authority Ria Luampa substation by a group of PF cadres in Luampa district of Western Province. He says government is talking of working with the opposition MPs in taking development to their areas, but what happened in Luampa has put them off.
As the foundation for democratic
motivate me, looking at the way my colleague was embarrassed in full view of her honor, the vice president. Suffice to say that the vice president, I'm told she apologized, though I never even watched that clip. But what happened to him, being the member of parliament for Luampa, Honorable Chikote, it was very unfortunate. In a part where there is discipline, like in UPND, heads would have rolled. Now you know very well what PF is. There is no discipline. Not a mere apology, especially to a honorable member of parliament, it doesn't really mean a lot. Looking at the people involved, because I was told some district commissioners are one of those. By the way, those are purported to be civil servants, but they are the ones who are in the forefront to harass the member of parliament. What would have pleased me and even the honorable member for Luampa was to see that disciplinary action is taken.
By disciplinary action is taken, what kind of discipline would you want?
I mean, there can be suspension, there can be dismissal. You put competent people in those positions, and I cut that.
Forum for Democratic Process FODEP Executive Director Chimwembe Mwenge has called on government to open up discussions regarding tightening up the electoral laws. Mr. Chimwembe says it is high time government, through the Electoral Commission of Zambia, to focus on electoral reforms for ensuring holding of future general elections to curb poll rigging. He says that credible people from different walks of life should also be given chance to become part of the process to avoid the complaints. Mr. Chimwembe says it is important that as a country started to unpack how the laws are serving this country. He has told Q News that his organization wants to see the process expedited.
As the foundation for democratic process, we would love to urge government and indeed the Electoral Commission of Zambia to once more open up the discussion regarding tightening the electoral regime. I think that it's very important that we begin to unpack how our laws are serving us and not to leave it to the last minute. I think 2016 election was there as a lesson for all of us, where laws were rushed before parliament, and would love that that situation is corrected. 2018 can be a good year actually to unpack all these things and have discussions and public consensus on many of these issues that people were raising, that institutions were raising.
The ruling Patriotic Front has castigated MMD faction leader Nevas Mumba for suggesting that it is impossible for it to emerge victorious in the 2021 general elections. Party media director Sunday Chanda tells Q News that Dr. Mumba does not have experience of winning an election. Mr. Chanda says the party can only listen to such utterances from a person who has won an election before and not Dr. Mumba. He says the faction leader is making such remarks because President Lungu opted to go for the Republican President Rupia Banda and not him in the 2016 general elections. Mr. Chanda adds that the party did so because the former president had a huge following, unlike Dr. Mumba.
Now, Dr. Nevas Mumba says that it's impossible for the Patriotic Front and for President Lungu to win 2021. He says it's impossible. We know, and the Zambian people know, that Dr. Nevas Mumba does not have experience, does not have any experience whatsoever of winning an election. He doesn't. Dr. Mumba does not know how to win elections. And he cannot tell us about winning an election. If it's someone that has won an election before, and they come to tell us that we cannot win 2021, maybe we'll give them an ear. But Dr. Mumba does not know how to win elections. What is informing that position that he has taken is that he's angry. And when you're angry, you lose objectivity. The only offense that President Lungu has committed to Dr. Nevas Mumba is because President Lungu opted, and the Patriotic Front opted, to go with former President Rupia Banda and not Dr. Nevas Mumba's camp. Because former President Rupia Banda was bringing value to the table. What Dr. Mumba was bringing to the table was a position that was being contested. Democracy is about numbers, and we wanted to win an election. We wanted someone who was going to deliver Eastern Province. And someone delivered, and it was not Dr. Nevas Mumba. So even after that election, 2015 election, the biggest problem that he had was that the Patriotic Front had gone with former President Rupia Banda and not him.
Commerce Minister Margaret Mwanakatwe says government is determined to address the unfair and illicit trade affecting the local manufacturing industry. Ms. Mwanakatwe says it is for this reason that government has embarked on a multi-sectoral approach to end illicit and unfair trade in the country. She has told Q News that government is committed to closely monitor goods that are entering the country to curb unfair trade. This comes in the wake of calls by a number of manufacturers calling on government to sieve certain goods coming from other countries, but can be manufactured within. She has vowed to further work with the Zambia Revenue Authority, ZRA, to completely end the vice.
We don't work in isolation, we work with a multi-sectoral approach. So this we do with other ministries, especially ZRA through the Ministry of Finance. And we are going through a process of creating one-stop border posts so that we can manage our border posts a lot more. We've only had Chirun for a long time now, but we're going to have Livingston on stream very soon. Makonde is ready to go. You will see a lot more of the borders becoming one-stop border post. We don't work.
We take our first commercial break. We'll be right back.
Lose yourself to a taste that comes from a land far, far away, with a recipe that speaks to the heart. The purest farm fresh butter, beautiful golden wheat, and a few magical ingredients. Baked to perfection to create Chelsea Scottish shortbread biscuits. Chelsea Scottish shortbread biscuits. Love at first bite.
From Amazon, we bake 'em better. Trade Kings, improving lives.
The Auction Center, Test Center Zambia Limited, on behalf of Mopani Mine, brings you a massive surplus stock of mining equipment, trucks, spare parts and general auction sale at Mopani Mine Budget Store in Mufulira on Saturday 11th of November at 10:30 hours. Various surplus model, decommissioned underground LHD and dump trucks and used underground LHD dump truck engines, drivetrain and other components, surplus spares and service kits, different LHD frames, different model loader buckets, electrical and mechanical spares, pumps and valves, pulleys and V-belts, electric motors, hydraulic and general hoses, copper bearing material and stainless steel plates, tippers trucks, bulldozers, MF tractor, excavator, loaders, general hardware, plus loads and loads of scrap. Viewing to start on Monday, 6th of November. Deposit is 10,000 kwacha, refundable if all conditions are met. Full payment by Monday, 13th of November. T's and C's apply and mining safety entrance conditions to apply. Call 0950-620850 and 0973-590840. The Auction Center.
Everybody come on and shake and sip. Shake and sip. Shake and sip. Everybody come on and shake and sip. 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 Move your body to the right. Move your body to the left. Move your body to the shake and sip. Everybody let's shake and sip. Yeah. We got strawberry banana. We got pineapple flavor. We got mixed berry flavor. Everybody let's shake and sip. Shake and sip. Everybody let's shake and sip. Everybody, let's shake and sip.
The irresistible new look Shake and Sip, now available in strawberry banana, mixed berry and pineapple.
Let's shake and sip.
Shake and Sip, when fresh meets fruity. Trade Kings, improving lives.
Thank you for staying with us. We now continue with the rest of the news. The Zambia Institute of Human Resource Management has warned of stern action against those practicing human resource management illegally. ZEREM President Moka Silumbu says the management will intensify inspections through collaboration with inspectors from the Ministry of Labour and Social Security and ensuring that they are brought to book. Speaking at the media breakfast, Mr. Silumbu says Council has decided to establish and launch a branch on Copperbelt to represent the Institute at the local level to advance the objectives of ZEREM. He says this will also help the Institute to provide high-quality human resource management services for the benefit of members and stakeholders. And Mr. Silumbu has expressed pleasure that the membership of the Institute has continued to grow. He says the Institute recorded a 20.6% growth from 4,065 in 2015 to 4,903 in 2016. The ZEREM president says 5,000 membership organizations wants all human resource practitioners to register, as it is a crime to practice without a certificate. He further disclosed that a draft bill and a cabinet memorandum have been drafted to strengthen compliance levels among members and employers and also seal enforcement loopholes in the current law regulating human resource practitioners in Zambia.
Strategic objectives of the company, the goals of the company, or even of the nation, cannot be achieved without the human capital. As I have said, this institute is there to develop, promote the practice of human resources. Already you were talking about quacks. Can you imagine what type of decisions would be made by quacks in as far as executing the strategic plans of the organization would be? So it's very important to have this institution. One, it will regulate the practice of human resources. As I have already said, the human resource capital is the one that you need to achieve your goals. You cannot achieve it on its own. You might be a doctor, you might be a lawyer, you might be an accountant, and they need even an HR practitioner. But in the final analysis, you are the talent of the organization, you are the talent of the
the country. So when this is organized, when this is regulated, when this is developed, then it means the companies would achieve their goals. The country will also achieve its goals because its human resources would have been developed and the required skills and competences for various jobs in the country would have been developed. So it's very important to have this institute.
The Zambia Association of Manufacturers, ZAM, says the manufacturing sector has this year recorded growth of between 30 to 40%. ZAM President Rosetta Chabala tells Q News that the sector is slowly getting on track after being crippled by load shedding during the 2015-2016 period. She says this year has been very encouraging with the stability in the economy and more liquidity for governments to buy from local manufacturers. Ms. Chabala says in as much as the sector has not fully recovered from the 2015-2016 economic challenges, there is no much hope, especially for emerging manufacturers. And Ms. Chabala, who is also Zamefa Managing Director, says the company has, in the past 6 months, substantially increased production tonnage, while it also increased its export volumes. Kasama Central Member of Parliament, Honorable Kelvin Mutale Sampa, has donated 20,000 kwacha to Musokotwane Compassion Mission Zambia towards the building of a safety home for girls retrieved or at risk of child marriages in Choma district of Southern Province. Musokotwane Compassion Mission Zambia, MCMZ, is a non-profit organization that fights against early child marriages in Choma district of Southern Province. Speaking when he officiated at the Girl Child Shoot fundraising concert on Friday, organized by Musokotwane Compassion Mission Zambia to raise funds for the construction of a girls' haven, Mr. Sampa says early child marriages have become of high concern not only in his constituency but in the country as a whole. He says he was compelled to become a consistent partner of Musokotwane Compassion Mission Zambia because problems currently faced by children are not selective of a child's geographical location or tribe, hence the need that people invested towards real-life transforming initiatives such as MCMZ. Mr. Sampa has commended Musokotwane Compassion Commission Zambia for the strong partnership it has with traditional leaders and the Zambia Police Service and called on other stakeholders to consider partnering with the organization as he said, as he has seen the fruits of his previous donations. The Northern Province-based lawmaker has warned perpetrators of child abuse that he will champion for stiffer law against perpetrators of violence against children and women. Mr. Sampa further says women are partners in development, not tools of abuse. Hence, they are worthy should start to be identified while still girls. And speaking earlier, Chief Chikanda of the Tonga-speaking people in Kaloma district has praised Musokotwane Compassion Commission for being consistent in its quest to curb child marriages and appealed to other youths to learn the art of consistency and servanthood if traditional leaders and government are to take them serious. Meanwhile, Musokotwane Compassion Commission Zambia Executive Director Genius Musokotwane has observed the need to invest in rural and grassroots-driven projects if early child marriages are to be combated in Zambia. He has since commended President Lungu's heart and passion to end child marriages that has touched all parts of the country and is proved by the invited guest of honor, who is Northern Province lawmaker. Mr. Musokotwane appealed for continued and increased support from government, the corporate world and individual citizens during and after the construction of a girls' haven on ending child marriages through education and support. The ruling Patriotic Front has castigated MMD faction leader Nevas Mumba for suggesting that it is impossible for it to emerge victorious in the 2021 elections. Party Media Director Sande Chanda tells Q News that Dr. Mumba does not have experience of winning an election. Mr. Chanda says the party can only listen to such utterances from a person who has won an election before and not Dr. Mumba. He says the faction leader is making such remarks because President Lungu opted to go for former Republican President Rupia Banda and not him in the 2016 general elections. Mr. Chanda adds that the party did so because the former president had a huge following, unlike Dr. Mumba. We go for another commercial break. We'll be right back. Stay tuned.
taste worth celebrating. I'm a sip my hell. Eat well, drink well, feel new. Trade Kings, improving lives.
Are you ready to win big, Zambia? With 5 Roses Tea, Fresh Pack Rooibos, Frisco Coffee, Ellis Brown Creamer and Baker's Biscuits? Buy any participating pack to enter. Dial *244*946# on your cell phone and follow the prompts. Stand a chance to win your share of 500,000 kwacha in cash and airtime prizes. The more you enter, the more chances to win, with a grand cash prize of 60,000 kwacha awarded to the most entries. Buy more, win more.
Freshness and softness have never felt this good before. Give your fabric that lasting aroma and a touch of gentleness from your trusted name. Introducing the new Boom Fabric Conditioner. The fabric conditioner that provides continuous fabric freshness and softness. Your fabric will just fall in love with its wonderful conditioning qualities. And all you need is a cap full for your final rinse. Boom Fabric Conditioner puts the back into your clothes.
Trade Kings, improving lives.
Economic and Equity Party leader Chilufya Tayari has maintained that the revelations by the Paradise newspaper encompass on corruption and fraud. Mr. Tayari has alleged that the money which the United Party for National Development has invested in several of the ward was acquired through privatization and belongs to Zambia. He wonders why Mr. Hichilema chose to invest a lot of money externally instead of the country he aspires to lead. He has charged that he will continue telling Zambians that Mr. Hichilema took advantage of the Zambian people unless he shows Mr. Tayari and many other Zambians where he got the money in the offshore accounts.
And the evidence is the money that is now resurfacing from offshore places. It's resurfacing now, it's coming out. That money is ours. So I'm not even looking at so much about the taxes. All that money is supposed to be ours. And I will continue saying that HH took advantage of the Zambian people unless he shows me where he got that money. It's true, people make money, it's fine. But where did HH get that kind of money to throw outside the country, if it is not from privatization? From my point of view, I am saying HH is no good for Zambia. HH took advantage of privatization, and the money that is now resurfacing is our money. If anything, we should be asking HH to bring back our money. That's what we should be doing. So it is not personal, but I'm looking at the Zambian people's resources. That's what I'm looking at. I'm looking at people who have taken advantage of this country, taken money out of the country. All the explanations to say is investing so that it can come back, it doesn't make sense. The interest rates outside there, they are very small. The interest rate is about 1%, 2% in these countries. But here it is 27%. So why should HH invest money outside where the interest rates are low? When people from Europe are investing in this country, why can't HH do the same? It is because he's hiding, that is our money. And the
Opposition New Congress Party leader Pastor Peter Chanda has advised United Party for National Development, UPND, to respect democratic principles and go for a convention. Pastor Chanda says UPND should show that it respects democracy by going for a convention than attacking government all the time. He told Q News that it appears that the current leaders in the UPND are resisting being subjected to internal elections. Pastor Chanda says it is annoying to see the largest opposition leader talking about democracy when he has failed to respect it.
We advise Mr. Hakainde Hichilema to remain silent on democratic issues because he does not possess the moral authority to talk about democracy, because he has never gone to a convention, he has never been challenged by anyone from the time he took over. Anderson Mazoka allowed democracy to prevail within the UPND. UPND under Anderson Mazoka was a formidable party with wider representation, and it had good democratic. They used to go to a convention, and their convention was a different kind of a style. It was more of a federal kind of conventions where they held provincial And Anderson Mazoka was elected in all the provinces by the people, and I believe MMT followed suit to do that when they elected Nevas Mumba as their president. But what can Hakainde Ichilema tell us from the time he took over? How many conventions have they done in the past 10 years? So we, as New Congress Party, hereby challenge Mr. Hakainde Ichilema to show leadership and take his party to the convention. And we advise the members of UPND to begin to put pressure on him so that they can redeem this party from being called a party that is owned by a certain sector of society in the country, and a person that is coming from a certain region in this country.
Governance activist Leslie Chikuse says it has embarked on consultations with the Anti-Corruption Commission that is aimed at seeing some of the loopholes that are causing the increase in the mismanagement of the resources. Mr. Chikuse has expressed worry over the increased mismanagement of public funds in Zambia as disclosed in the 2016 Auditor General's report released on 2nd November 2017. He says cases of swindling of funds meant for public resources should be eradicated at all costs. And Mr. Chikuse has further revealed that he will also seek President Edgar Lungu's intervention in ensuring that persons responsible for financial irregularities cited in the latest Auditor General's report should be taken to task. He says the issue is a serious matter and whoever is found wanting should face the law.
So the problem that we have is that the Anti-Corruption Commission are at the end of this whole thing, and when a perpetrator is found guilty, sometimes they get suspended sentence, sometimes they get 6 months. And when you look at the amount of money that is misallocated or maybe mismanaged, or misappropriated, you find that it is not equivalent to the term that will be given, to the jail term that will be given in the event that they found quite. So that is another loophole that we have seen. The other loophole is that, of course, the Anti-Corruption Commission cannot persecute without permission from the DPP. So again, that is one loophole which we have a problem. So the only thing we can work at is to come up with preventive measures. And the current proposal by government to come up with this electronic, way of financial management, I think can help. But I think eventually also, very importantly, is just to have a political will, stronger political will to ensure that those that are found perpetrating this kind of atrocity must be put to task. Because eventually whatever happens, the people to make the decision is government. The people to make the decision is the president. Because even the Public Accounts Commission can only recommend what should be done to the perpetrators, and they will recommend to government. And if government does not act, it means that they will have to wait for another audit year, and then again they will just recommend. So we just call upon the president and the government to take this thing very seriously and very strong, to say, let us deal with these perpetrators.
And senior citizen Dante Saunders has called on civil society organizations to form what he has described as a People's Commission of Inquiry into the recent financial scandals in the country. Mr. Saunders, who is also a political commentator, has told Q News that there is need for all non-government organizations and civil societies to investigate the happenings, including the fire tenders. He says the revelations by the Auditor General's report is just a small fraction of many other corrupt activities which could be taking place in the country. Mr. Saunders has further stated that he has lost confidence in the country's law enforcement agencies for failing to efficiently fight corruption in the country.
That's where they will discipline the people. But we want now the bigger picture. And these NGOs that I'm talking about, we can find the money amongst ourselves. There are many good well-wishers in this country that will be able to supplement these institutions. All we need is for these institutions like Transparency to take the lead, to take the mantle and say, we are going to investigate. Because a starting point is an institution called the SGS. It's an institution which basically most big deals go through them. And with them, you can establish the true value of all this equipment that we are talking about. Who done the deal? Why was it so expensive to buy a cup of tea from that place when, you know, other places are only charging 1 kwacha? Why do the people of Zambia have to buy a cup of tea for 100 kwacha? Why? That's the big picture that I'm talking about. So to me, the Auditors General's report, good as it may be, is basically highlighting what party cadres are basically misused, abused, and simply stolen. We need to dig deeper. So for me, I want to say that I'm truly behind this issue. We need to get down to the bottom of the story. If we are going to talk about cleaning corruption in this country, we have to do it once and for all. And at the same time, I think that this big institution that we are calling the Commission of Inquiries, the People's Commission of Inquiries, we should seriously look at now also altering our constitution to simply be in a position to be able to empower immediately institutions like ACC.
We'll take another set of commercials. Stay tuned.
What's in a great name? Is it the way it touches your life? The promise it makes to you? Or the smile it puts on your face when its name is mentioned? For generations, many have trusted the amazing powers of Boom detergent paste. And so will generations to come. Tried, tested, trusted. Boom detergent paste. The detergent paste for all generations.
Hi, my name is Karen. Now, despite my busy schedule, I always make sure that I take good care of my skin and my family's skin. Romeo contains natural ingredients. Elo itelelesa tupi bwino. For me and my family, it's Romeo.
Romeo Beauty Soap contains natural oils and glycerin that moisturize the skin, leaving it soft and smooth. A selection of natural ingredients helps hold moisture in so your skin isn't just soft, but better. Romeo Beauty Soap, everyday luxury for your kind of skin.
Piatto Restaurant, now open at Embassy Mall.
It's the simple things that bring the biggest joys. Create memories that will last a lifetime for the ones you love in the season of giving. Visit us on Facebook at Oka Deco Zambia. Oka Deco. Think home, think Oka.
We continue with the rest of the news. Siavonga District Commissioner Lavmo Kanyama has called on farmers in the district to report suspected outbreaks of 4 army worms infestation so as to fight them in readiness for 2017-2018 farming season. Mr. Kanyamai has urged the farming community to report any signs of the insects to the Ministry of Agriculture District Agriculture Coordinator, DIACO, the Disaster Management and Mitigation Unit, DMMU, and his office. And Mr. Kanyamai says DIACO and his office has intensified the campaign to avoid panic from farmers in case of armyworm outbreak. Mr. Kanyamai has since praised the office of DIACO and his staffs in Savonga district on this awareness and sensitization campaign in acquiring armyworm chemicals. Milenge District Commissioner in Wapula Province, Kunda Chibilo, has called for the recruitment of more health personnel at Milenge District Hospital. Mr. Chibilo tells Q News that workers who are currently at the hospital are not enough to handle mounting pressure due to the population that has kept escalating in the district. He complains that in most instances, government has deployed health workers at the district hospital, but they only stay there for a few months before they get transfers to urban areas. The Milenge District Commissioner says the hospital, which was commissioned by President Lungu last year, has the capacity to enhance health services of people in the district, but that it should be coupled with sufficient human resource.
They are not enough because, you know, sometimes people come here to get employed and then they get transferred to some other places. So the staff are not enough as expected. So the few that are there are doing a good job, but we are working very hard and we are pushing to make sure that at least we have enough staff at the hospital. They are not in.
Before we go to international news, here's a recapitulation of stories in the headlines. Opposition, United Party for National Development, UPND, says it is ready to support plans to impeach President Edgar Lungu for alleged breach of the Constitution. The Forum for Democratic Process FODEP Executive Director Chinkwembe Mwenge has called on government to open up discussions regarding tightening up the electoral laws. In international news, Spanish Prime Minister Mariano Rajoy says regional elections next month in Catalonia will help end separatist havoc in the northeastern region. He addressed a campaign event on his first visit there since imposing direct rule on the region a fortnight ago. Defending his decision in Barcelona, he said he had exhausted all roads after the Catalan government unilateral declaration of independence last month. Several key Catalan leaders are currently being detained over the move. Some 750,000 people protest in Barcelona on Saturday against the arrests, local police estimated. The crisis was sparked by a disputed referendum held in Catalonia in October, which had been barred by the Spanish courts. Catalan officials said the independence campaign won 92% of the vote, from a turnout of 43%. Many of those who were against independence did not cast votes, refusing to recognize the legitimacy of the referendum. The Catalan government subsequently declared independence in response to the Spanish government dissolved the region's parliament, imposed direct rule, and called a snap regional election on 21st December. President Donald Trump appears to have rolled back on comments suggesting he believed the Russian president's denials of meddling in the U.S. election. He was widely criticized after saying Vladimir Putin had been insulted by the allegations of Russian interference. On Sunday, Mr. Trump clarified that he supported U.S. intelligence agencies who have long concluded that Russia tried to sway the 2016 poll in his favor. The two leaders briefly discussed the allegations at an Asia-Pacific summit. Questions surrounding Russia's role in last year's election and allegations of collusion involving Donald Trump's campaign team have dogged his presidency. Legal action has already been taken against several of his former aides as part of the Justice Department inquiry. Until now, President Trump has refused to acknowledge intelligence agency finding that Russia was behind the hacking of the Democratic National Committee, DNC, in the run-up to the poll. And that will end the news at 7 p.m. Join us for more at 10 p.m. Thank you so much. Good evening.